Hello and welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes along with my partner in crime, Yolanda Starks White, my executive producer, and we are talking about business and getting started in business, what it takes. And we're going to feature an interview with the CEO of the Black Innovation Alliance. Her name is Dr. Kelly Burton. And I invite you to stay tuned for that conversation. But we own a business, couple of businesses actually,
Right.
jointly. And have you checked out Yogi's Yoga? No, that was really to you. Have you checked out Yogi's Yoga?
Well, I'm still paying the rent.
Okay, okay.
The lights
Uh,
are still on.
the lights are still on. That's a good thing,
Yeah,
and the key still works.
the
So
keys
that's
still work.
yeah. But in thinking about what it would take to actually apply for a grant for a new business, for the extension of a business, and the difficulties. But this is an organization that really takes into consideration Black folks and Black women, in particular, that are starting businesses. And how they can be of service, how they can help them get started with marketing and funds and things like that. So if you were to start, and you always have ideas, you always have things running through your head, and mine are pretty much the same. Whenever you ask me, what do you want to own? I want to own interest in a professional football team, and I
Okay, but hold
also
on. All you have, the grant is only $100,000.
okay.
Okay, so you
So
they
okay,
wouldn't take your call.
so who they wouldn't take my call? How do
The
you
the,
know?
the football team.
How do you know?
Oh, trust me, they will not take your call for $100,000.
Okay, okay,
I
all
I
right.
don't even know. I have a friend that does the catering for the Cowboys. He
Uh-huh.
does. You know the guy who used to have the barbecue place around the corner.
Oh yeah.
He caters for the Cowboys,
Oh nice.
and I bet you their catering bill
It is more
is
than a
a,
hundred thousand
a
dollars a
couple
week.
of 100,000. Well, I mean for the season,
No,
I
I'm thinking for the week.
for the week. You might be right. You might be right because he said he be cooking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what about a nice little bar slash bookstore? What do you think
Okay.
that would cost?
Okay.
Would that be, could we do anything with that, do you think?
Well, you might be able to do something with that. So where would you do it? A bookstore. Well,
Slash.
bookstores don't make money, but bars make money. So the bar part is good.
Yeah, well, because my love of books, and and it's nothing like having a glass of wine discussing a book. And stay tuned
Ooh.
for Sybil's book club this week coming up too.
Ooh.
But we're talking about children's books. But just having a space where you could, people could come in, just like with you. You are a dancer. And you
Right.
go, and so people go to dance. People also, believe it or not, Yolanda, people also go to places to have an adult beverage. And so, um,
Well, I wasn't concentrating on the adult beverage. I was talking about. I'm just not sure how many people would go somewhere to read a book.
not to
But
read, but
if it's not,
but
if
sometimes just having sitting in a nice chair with a glass of wine or beer or some brown or clear liquor in a glass and just going through magazines, checking out the books
okay,
and
so I'm
seeing.
sitting at. Okay, so here's the bar. So I'm
Okay.
sitting at the bar. Hey, Charlie, give me a double. And I'm reading my book. Is that how that works?
And then you say, okay, I'll read 2 pages to you.
Yeah. But
or
I
or
really like that idea.
or not necessarily sitting at the bar, but in a corner in a nice overstuffed chair,
Yeah, like a
and
couch.
plants and like your terrarium back behind you, with some nice plants and just some ambiance
I
to
like
for
that.
people to just have a beverage and read
Oh,
a
and
book
civil.
and then
You
talk
could,
about it.
but you could call it Civil's Book Club.
It's because it's a club,
Well, it's
yeah,
a club.
right.
I like it.
It's a club.
Oh my God. But seriously, that's a cute. So me and my girlfriend Tracy, we like going dancing, but the big fancy, like on Power, those clubs where the
Uh,
lights and the
oh
double
yeah.
set, not
No,
that.
no.
We just like
You
those
like
little
a
hole in the
hole in the
wall.
wall.
Yeah, that maybe 30 people can fit in, but
Uh,
but 50 people get in there. And it's like Cheers. I would love to have a place where when people get off work, that they just come by, have a drink, listen to music.
right.
And
Because you are a music person and you're a dancer. And watching you and Tracy the other night at a birthday party, and it's just great. But it seemed like the floor space, the dancing floor space, was a little too large for you.
yeah, girl, we're not used to that.
Because it was like out to there, and you can't even see because here's my hands, and it was way, 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 and y'all are used to like the little areas where just your heels will fit. And, and when the guy swung you out, you were like, whoa,
Whoa.
whoa. It was fabulous, Rocky. It was great. It was great because y'all were like, you used to do it like this, and people
we
are
can
like,
open up.
they were spitting them, the men were spinning them around, and you were like,
Oh, girl, you're silly. But Sybil, I wonder, and I think I would, if there was an environment where I could go and have a cozy place to sit and read and have a glass to drink. I think I would do that.
well,
So
your
hold on.
your your glass to drink would be different from my glass to drink.
Right, we'll have something to drink. But
You'd have
hold
a
on.
you'd have a sweet tea or something.
With the book
Club.
part of it, with the book part of it, do you bring your own book or are you selling books?
We could do both.
Okay.
It would because I have a fondness, although I'm not able to give them my business as often as I would like. I love the idea of Black bookstores, and we
Right.
don't have enough of them. And
Right.
so to give a place where people can put their books, and even people who are self-published and they might have difficulty in getting placement in a larger store or an online store, this would be an opportunity for them to bring their books and to sell and we'd have you have kind of have to separate the club part from the book part, but in order to sell or have just a library where you just kind of read and for a while
Oh,
and
I
then you put
like
it back.
and you can exchange books. So
Yeah,
you bring some and take them. I really like that.
yeah,
Did you ever go at Barnes and Noble? Is Barnes and Noble still open?
yes.
Okay. Did you ever go to Barnes and Noble? They had a little lounge area where you could
Yeah.
sit around and read. Did you ever do that?
Yeah, I used to do that, and then the little kids would come and find me, and I was like, I don't know you. Where are your parents? Why
Right.
why are you, drawn to me? Look what I can do, and I'm like, look what I can do. I can
Trying
read.
to
Now
read.
go away.
Right.
No, but it is. It's very nice. And sometimes it's close to where they have their coffee bar.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah,
Okay, so I think you got something. Sybil's Book Club.
club. Yeah.
I love that idea.
And so, what do you like? What would you like to do? Because we have a yoga studio.
So, Sybil, if I could have my own business, if somebody gave me $100,000 and
Mhm.
I could have my own business, I would give it to you to invest in the Sybil's Book Club, and I would do nothing because I don't want to do nothing.
I know, I know, I know.
Girl, do you realize how much TV there is to watch?
And what if we had a TV room in the club?
Ooh, and you know what's interesting, Sybil? I um I don't nearly read as much as I used
And
to
and and we both admit that, yeah.
because my eyes are getting worse. I had LASIK surgery about 10 years ago and it really messed up my eyes. And so I don't read much and I'm sure staring at the computer screen
Right.
and the phone screen all day
And we
it
do,
doesn't
yeah.
help it. Yeah. Yeah, but seriously, what I would really like to do is I would really like to put some life into our yoga studio. I would really
Mhm.
take some funds and I would have classes for senior citizens. That's really my heart. If
That's
I could have
really,
classes
that is
for
so
senior
much
citizens,
fun, and
and
it is so
we
great.
have classes throughout the day, and I can hire people. See, that's
Hmm.
the challenge is with where the seniors could come for free, like they do with the silver sneakers
Hmm.
with the seniors. But I just can't afford to pay anybody to do it, and I can't do all the classes.
Right.
But I would infuse that into our studio and really make it
And
live.
I will tell you, I still get calls and I still get texts from people, call in or text them and say happy birthday. When we gonna get together? When we gonna do yoga? When we, and that kind of thing. And so I know
And
that.
I do too, Sybil. We just don't make any. It's just that is just a business that just don't. You have to do it for the love,
Right.
because for number one, especially the audience that I'm interested in seniors. They're on a fixed income, and so they can't really afford it, and people that probably can afford it, they don't necessarily think that it's necessary to make that type of investment
In
into
themselves.
themselves.
Right.
And it's a hard sell.
It is a hard sell, but I think if anybody can do it, it's you. And in selling, because even when we have friends come in town, like we've had Huggy come in town, and Dominique and Sherry and Kim have come in town, and they really enjoy it. I mean, they're kind of kicking, going, oh, funny, I don't have the clothes for it. I don't have the bot, but
Because
they
I'm
come in,
great.
and
I make it.
you give them something that they can really do
Yeah.
on a regular basis
Hmm.
that doesn't is not so totally foreign to them, whether it's the type of exercise that you give them to do, the type of stretching, or the music that you provide, which is really awesome. It's a different kind of music, that it's not the a lot of the stuff that you hear in yoga classes. And
Oh,
you
wait, hold on for a second. Sidebar. Girl, have you heard Andre 3000's new record?
I have.
Oh my
I've heard.
God.
Actually, what I've heard is him talking over it in interviews. I've heard some podcasts with him and the music, and
Oh
it just
my
I really thought, and
God.
I thought about
Yes.
you when
He's
when
gonna
I heard it.
change the game.
Yeah,
He's gonna
he's a
change the game.
he's a flautist.
Yes, yes, he is.
He's a
But
flautist.
he plays several instruments
Yeah, yeah.
in it. Oh my gosh! But yeah, I infuse different type of music into it so people can be familiar with it. And
And because you are a dancer, there's some dance moves in there too. As we're working on our cardio and things like that. So
get that heart
it's
rate up.
yeah. It is. It's a different. It's not your grandma's yoga class
And I was talking
or
with
your white girlfriend's yoga class.
right. Well, no, really, because I was talking with my nephew the other day, and he was telling me about yoga, and he was saying, "Oh, well, it hurt, but the hurt and it's good hurt." And I was like, "Hold on for a second,
Mm,
that's a fallacy. It doesn't hurt. Whatever you're doing,
you're not
whatever
doing
you're doing, if it hurt, don't do it.
right.
That's the rule. Because it used to be no pain, no gain.
Hmm.
That's not true."
Which is a good song in yoga too.
Yes. All right, I'll add that to the playlist. So, but yeah, that's not true. We make it so you get a good stretch, you feel good, you really work on your lung capacity, and most
Which is
importantly,
something some people could use some work with.
you girl, you are not kidding. Because the other night, woo, girl. But Simon, you remember when I first got diagnosed with asthma before
Uh-huh.
I was doing yoga? When we were at the club, I'd be out there dancing and swirling. I go back to the table with my pump.
Those days are not coming back, but they're getting close.
Well,
They're getting close, and got to get out there, and the joy that you all have from watching you all do it. It gives me joy to watch you all. It really is. It's
but the
something you got to
only
get
thing
back to
about
doing.
doing for
And we got to
real.
watch our time because we have our interview
Okay,
with Dr.
cool.
Kim coming up, Dr. Kelly Burton coming up. Um,
Okay.
and we'll continue this at another time, but please stay tuned for our conversation with Dr. Kelly Burton and of the Black Innovation Alliance. I think you'll really enjoy this and join us again. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and we'll see you again soon. We're very thankful for you. Aloha. Hello and welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes, and I hope you all are having a wonderful holiday week. I think we are here on the It's Sybil show, and we are bringing you a series of interviews that we think you'll find very interesting. I know I'm very interested in and want to bring some information and new people to our audience. Today, we're talking about and perhaps learning about for the first time about the Black Innovation Alliance and their clapback campaign. Welcome to you, CEO of the Black Innovation Alliance, Dr. Kelly Burton. Hello, Dr. Burton. How are you?
Hi, Sybil. I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm well, but not as well as you. Um,
you
well,
know,
we're slaving over hot microphones, but your microphone probably is a little hot and sunnier and
yeah,
warmer than the rest
yes,
of
very
us.
breezy and balmy over
Yes.
the part.
So thank you for taking time from your trip, your business trip, to talk with us today. We really appreciate it. Dr. Brock, can you explain to us what is the Black Innovation Alliance?
Sure. So, Black Innovation Alliance is a national coalition of organizations that are dedicated to closing the racial wealth gap. There are currently 116 of these organizations. So, if you're familiar with the tech and innovation space, there are a lot of accelerators, incubators, venture studios, new models for helping entrepreneurs to scale and grow. So, 116 of these Black-led accelerators, Black-led incubators, Black-led co-working spaces across the country, and they support about 400,000 entrepreneurs and innovators of color across the
Wow.
U.S. and increasingly around the world. We're currently in the process of onboarding another 70, which is really exciting. It just goes to show how emergent this and thriving this entrepreneur ecosystem space is.
That's exciting. Joining us today is my co host and also my business partner, Yolanda Starks White. And we are a Black company. And so, would we come to you? Is that how it works? Or do you look for businesses?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our customer is that Black-led accelerator or that Black-led organization that has programming or funding specifically for entrepreneurs. We consider them as the front line of support for Black entrepreneurs and innovators across the country. And our work is really to help ensure that they are healthy, viable, and sustainable. So we provide a lot of capacity building support, professional development support, making sure that their business models are strong. And we also are focused on making sure that the ecosystem is sufficient for entrepreneurs and business owners like you to thrive. As you know, this experience of being an entrepreneur is very fraught. And you don't get
Yes.
you're like, yeah, that's the understatement, right? You don't get a whole lot of guidance. There's not, there's not a whole lot of direction. You have to figure a lot out. You're bumping around in the dark. And so at BIA, we just feel that if our ecosystem was a little smarter, it would make your process as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, a lot more efficient, and make it easier for you to get to profitability, make it easier for you to get to scale, and make it easier for us to collectively close this 228-year racial wealth gap. That's what researchers tell us. That's going to take 228 years for
Wow.
Black household wealth to catch up to white household wealth, which is about as long, as long as we were enslaved. So,
Yeah.
we think about all the ways that experience has aggregated to keep us behind. It really is daunting. But, at Black Innovation Alliance, we're up for the task because we believe that entrepreneurship is the most direct path towards closing the racial wealth gap, because entrepreneurship is the number one wealth creator in the world. Oftentimes we talk about closing the wealth gap and people bring up home ownership, or they're bring up, insurance or life insurance. All those things are important and they matter. But I don't know any billionaires who got to be billionaires by becoming a homeowner, right?
Right.
And a billionaire is not for everybody, but we have to figure out a business model. We've got to figure out a strategy or blueprint to help more Black folks get to millionaire and billionaire status, so that those wins can start to ripple out throughout our community.
You talk about a 228 racial gap
Yes.
in
Mhm.
terms of where we are and how long it'll take us to get there. I do the story on a yearly basis, and it
Mhm.
always saddens me when I
Yes.
talk about the pay gap, and that's just in terms of oftentimes it'll take 1 year and 8 months. I think is the most recent that we did. That
Yep.
it'll take for Black women to make as much
Yes.
as it did for a white man in their same position in 1 year.
Yes.
So
Yes.
20 months in order to make what a white man will make in 12 months.
Yes.
And it's not that much better, but it is still better for white women and even for Hispanic women. To think about that gap of 228 years, that seems daunting and overwhelming to even
Yes.
try to climb that mountain.
Yes. I mean, today, your average white child enters the world with 10 times access to inherited wealth compared to your average Black child. And that has implications for everything in that child's life, where they live, the schools they attend, the extent to which they have safe places to play, the kind of college opportunities, job opportunities. I mean, we know because when you're proximate to wealth, it gives you access to opportunity. Folks who have wealth don't have dirty water. They don't
Right.
have, underperforming schools. They don't have crappy roads, right? Because wealth
They
solves,
don't live in food deserts,
they don't
all
live
of
in
those
food.
things that
It
we talk
solves all
about
those.
on a daily basis.
That's exactly right. And the challenge of it is, Civil, with the financialization of the economy that's happened over the last 50 years, now it's your money makes money. I say your money has money babies. And so
Mm,
that gap is widening because if you have money, if you already have wealth, you don't have to do anything. You can literally live off the interest produced by your investments. So the
mm.
rest of us are like, on the treadmill, on the hamster wheel, running, running, running,
Right.
running, and folks are sitting pretty because they have access to inherited wealth, which is sitting in an account somewhere, making money on top of money on top of money, which is very different than 50 years ago when the white middle class was built.
We're talking with Dr. Kelly Burton, and she is the CEO of the Black Innovation Alliance. And Yolanda, and can tell you about our situation. Not only did we start, and we weren't in a food desert, we weren't, in a city with poor roads and have no education.
Yeah.
We started our business during the pandemic.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. And it was tough, and we lost a lot of Black businesses, disproportionately lost Black businesses during the pandemic. Black businesses disproportionately lacked access to PPP. They actually had to change the rules because it was so inaccessible to Black owned businesses and other businesses led by marginalized groups. And so I think, but for us at BIA, we really see it as an opportunity. One of the things that we're really excited about is we launched this BLADE report, Black Liberation and the Digital Economy. And as far as we know, it's the very first piece of research that focused exclusively on digital entrepreneurship. So you might say, well, what's digital entrepreneurship? That's going to be content creation, professional services, esports, gaming, influencers, right? E-commerce. And
Mhm.
so what we found is that Black digital businesses outperformed all small businesses in terms of their likelihood of being profitable, in terms of their sustainability. They were likely to produce high levels of net worth. They were more likely to create kind of comfortable living conditions and circumstances. And so we're really excited about this because, as you know, when it comes to Black folks, all the research is always about the disparities and the ways that Black folks are not making. But what we know is that digital is a leveler because, as once one of our speakers said at the event, when it comes to our experience with businesses, a lot of times we would build strong, Wall Street or business areas, and they get burned down. Right, that is our
Mhm.
history. But she said, you can't pour kerosene on a digital business, and that's the truth. It's sad, but it's real. And in addition to that, in a digital business, no one has to necessarily know if you are Black.
Mhm. Mhm.
You don't necessarily need the overhead
So
and
we
all.
don't have to fill that box that
That's
says
right. Oh, don't get me started. Don't get me started on that, y'all. But yes, so we're excited because we believe that Black folks can be early adopters to digital opportunities and digital commerce that can really give us the competitive advantage that we need in order to close this racial wealth gap. Today, the digital economy is 10% of GDP. Can you imagine how that's going to climb into the future?
Wow.
It's like a stock, right? Can you imagine you got Apple stock when it was,
Yeah, if I bought back then, right. Yeah.
I mean, it's our opportunity to get on the front end of the wave, to actually access an industrial revolution for the very first time. That's a really, really powerful opportunity that we want to make sure we don't miss out on at BIA.
So Yolanda, I don't know about you, but this is us. This
right.
This
And
sounds
so
exciting.
This is an e-commerce business.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a digital, a digital business.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Dr. Burton, help me out. So
Yes.
I'm a simple little girl from the south side of Fort Worth. And so I don't have an MBA and what have you. So all of the business accelerator, all of that talk,
Yes.
that's above me.
Oh.
I am a professional and I have been very successful at what I have done professionally, but the business part.
Yes.
So, and being an entrepreneur, that's that is totally different from being a profession in whatever profession that you're doing.
Yes.
So we are in this business now. And as Sybil explained, we were birthed as a result of the pandemic.
Yes.
And every year we just tug along and we
get to the finish line with maybe about 5 cents in the bank.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, every month I struggle to pay payroll.
You're right.
And we reach people and we are consistent. And the work that we do, I'm telling you, I've done a lot of great things in my personal career, but the work that we do now, I am the most proud of.
Yeah.
We are really, really producing some great content.
Oh, I love it.
But I need to know, just on a more simple level, what do we do that we can access capital to keep us going?
And we're not alone. I know that there are a lot of people out there.
Hold on. I'm asking about us, and then we can. No. Because other people might be able to learn, but I want to be specific so we can kind of break down what are the steps and what does all of this really mean.
Yes, Yolanda, that's a fantastic question, and I will tell you, when we mapped out the digital domains, there are 8 digital domains of digital entrepreneurship, and one is media companies, right? And what we found from our study, that media companies have a harder time getting to profitability compared to developers, compared to folks in the gaming and the esports and e-commerce. And there's still so much we need to know, because as I mentioned, as far as we know, this is the very first study that explores this. But what we did find out was digital also offers something really powerful, which we as Black people have been looking for a very long time, and that is multiple streams of revenue. Right. Mm-hmm. So I'll give you an example. Let's say that you are an influencer, and as an influencer, you've got a community. Let's say you do makeup tutorials, right? And you have a community, and for that community to have access to you, you charge them $10 a month, and you might have 1,000 followers. In addition to that subscription model, you also have opportunities where you can go deep, and it's consulting, and you might charge them $1,000 a month. And then in addition to that, you actually have a brand sponsorship with Maybelline, and they pay you in order to test out their various new products. And then in addition to that, you have merchandise that you sell where people can say, buy t-shirts that say Glam Squad.
Gotcha.
Right? So digital is a facilitator in that it allows you to sync up these various domains in ways that allow you to make money multiple ways.
Okay.
So that's really what we're trying to figure out, because I will tell you, Yolanda, the best capital is revenue. We're in a space where there's a lot of...
Hold on for a second.
Yeah.
The best capital is revenue.
Revenue, that's right. Okay. And so when we think about...
I told you I was simple.
No. We're all learning on the job. It's for all of us. It's all of it is like entrepreneurship is being like on a steep learning curve. And every time you get to a point, you're like, oh man, I figured it out. And then it's a whole new learning curve.
And then it comes and flips.
Yeah. And then you have to, build a whole new set of skills and tools and competencies, right? And so it's not just you, but I say that the best form of revenue of capital is revenue, because that means you've got customers and clients. You don't have to go to a bank and get a loan that they're charging you 15, 20, 25% interest on. You don't have to sell a share in of your company to private equity or to an angel investor or to a venture fund, right? You can keep and maintain 100% ownership, but you can use the revenue to continue to feed and grow your business. So that's really also what we're trying to drive through our work at BIA. How do we help connect folks to markets? We talked a little bit about us being in the Bahamas today. At BIA, we believe that it's really important to build out your business model in the United States. It's the strongest economy in the world. But guess what? It's just one economy of many.
Right.
Right? And so we need to figure out how we are connecting the diaspora, right, around these international economic and commerce opportunities, because there's so many, and we all want to work together. We just have to figure out what's the infrastructure that enables us to do that and do it well.
Right. Okay.
But isn't the goal, and maybe I'm wrong for a lot of people, but I always thought the goal was when you are in this business and you build it to such a level that you do want someone to come and be your angel investor, or to be a company to buy you and put you into another realm of wealth that you can go off and that's how you create.
Shark Tank. That's why Shark Tank is so popular.
Is that not the goal, or am I wrong? And you can feel free to tell me that no, Sybil, that's stupid.
No, not at all. There are many paths to exit, right?
Okay.
In the past, people exited to their children. You inherited the business, right? And that money was kept in the family. People exit to their employees. So there's all sorts of cooperative models that when an owner, decides he's going to go on, he splits up shares across the employees.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this, the version that you mentioned, which is probably the most common, which is where you sell a share and then you're able to keep the profits and go and do something else, or retire, or live your best life, or use the money however you want, because you've built something really, really valuable. So we feel that there are numerous ways to exit, and we want to give visibility to the others, because what we also come to find out is oftentimes when people buy into this VC model, you exit with very little. You have given up so much to build this beautiful thing, and you've created wealth for a lot of other people who are already wealthy, and you leave with a small sliver.
Yeah.
I know a lot of Black founders who have had to take a year or two just to get themselves back together. It's because they were so kind of beat down by the process of building this thing and exiting with so little of what you actually built.
Wow. So as I said, I know this is about us, Yolanda, but as I said, there are so many companies, and I know people that are out there that are struggling and trying to keep the lights on day after day after day.
Yes.
How can we access your brilliance and your knowledge on all of this in order to help us in our future?
So, well, that's a great question. You mentioned that you are a COVID baby. At BIA, we're a COVID baby too. So we are. Yeah. So we were going to all come together at this big national event that happened in March in 2020. And we know what happened in March 2020.
Right.
The conversation online. But it was started by about 2 to 3 dozen what we call ecosystem builders. I was running an organization called Founders of Color. You see this old T-shirt that I pulled out. Traveling today. I was like, I want to be comfortable. But, there are probably 2 to 3 dozen of us who are running these organizations that were working directly with entrepreneurs. And we said, you know what? We got to figure out a better way, because us doing this in isolation is not getting it. We're not having the impact that we collectively want to have. So that was the vision beyond BIA. And in 3 years, we've raised about $10 million. We've grown our team to 30. We grew from a few dozen organizations to soon 200 organizations.
So hold on for a second. How did you raise your money?
Yeah, so our money is predominantly corporate philanthropy. We work with corporations that understand the power of entrepreneurship and addressing all the challenges that we care about. And so for us, it's really about how do we leverage this investment to build a better system for everybody.
Yeah.
That's what it's really about. But I would say right now, today on our website, you can check out blackinnovationalliance.com. We've got all of our organizations listed and the specific industries and areas where they focus. And they are the ones that are deploying the program. And we're actually in the process of developing technology that allows us to do that seamlessly, where you would be able to arrive to the site, answer a few questions, and you're provided a list of options of folks that you can reach out to who can provide direct support in growing your business.
Brilliant.
That's the goal.
Brilliant.
That is awesome. That
Brilliant.
is so, so awesome. Did you always want to be a part of the business world? Was that
Yeah,
how
who
you
are
started
you? Why'd
out?
you start this?
You know, it's so funny that you asked that. I thought that I was going to get in politics. I always wanted to change the world, and I thought politics was the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, you see it and you're like, I might need a different
Mhm.
way.
Yeah, yeah.
And I saw that when it came to politics, it was really run by business interests. And
Mhm.
even if we look today, a lot of our politics is bought up by business interests. So I said, if I really want to make a difference, I need to figure out this business play. And so over the course of my career, I've had numerous businesses. I have had to run just about every type of entity you can imagine, a product-based business, a service-based business. I run a social enterprise, and now I lead a national nonprofit organization. But I think it's sourced from wanting to make a difference. I grew up in Camden. You were saying, Yolanda, you're from a little town. I'm from a little town outside of Philadelphia. And it was rough when I was growing up in Camden in the 80s. And I remember thinking, man, you know, my folks deserve so much better than this.
Right, right.
People deserve so much better than this. So in my white high school, my predominantly white high school in Morristown, New Jersey, I was the president of the African American Association. And today I
Of
think
course you were. Of course you
I'm
were,
still the
girlfriend.
president of the African American Association. We
That's
just don't,
awesome.
get on the financial and economic side of it. So it's beautiful work. We're in a very special time in our history and
Mhm.
then the trajectory of humanity with AI and all the things that we see happening. It's just a really good time to be doing this work, and we're excited.
Well,
So
good
how do
on
you reach
you.
people? How do you reach your customers?
Yeah. So our members, they, it's so funny. You know, we say the streets be talking.
Right.
And that's how people find us. So again, our customer is the person who has given up this stage of their life to support entrepreneurs. And most of them, ladies, are people who tried entrepreneurship and got beat down. I mean, we talked about it, right?
Wow.
It's such a hard journey. And you
Mhm.
get on the other side and you say, man, I want to make sure nobody else has to go through that. I mean, that's why I started Founders of Color, because I started a product-based business. I had been a consultant for about 7 or 8 years. And then I had an opportunity to start a product-based business because I had a hard time scaling that consultancy. Because when you're a consultant, people want to work with you. You know, it's
Mhm.
very hard to scale that. So I said, well, let me try this product-based business because I've done such a great job with this other business, not understanding it's two different models. Product-based business are a lot more capital intensive. And I didn't have access to the relationships. I didn't have access to the supply chain. I didn't have access to the capital that I needed in order to scale. And so I spent about $200,000 to $300,000. I don't know exactly because I'm afraid to count. I think it's going to be when I realized
Right.
how much of my money I actually spent, because many of us, we fund our dreams on our business credit card.
Right.
And I
Right.
just paid off my last payment for that product-based business that I closed 5 years ago last year. I was still
Wow.
paying down debt on that
Wow.
business that had long been
Wow.
shuttered. And
See,
now,
that's the entrepreneur. So you are at the
Right.
heart, at the core, at the end
oh
of the
yeah,
day,
we understand the
an entrepreneur.
pain. We
Yeah.
understand
Yeah.
the pain. It's
Yeah.
real and it's lived. And you have a lot of leaders in this space who have that lived experience as an entrepreneur out here advocating and say, how can we make the system better for the next generation of entrepreneurs? I will tell you, in that
That's
Blade
nice.
report that we ran of digital businesses, I think
Mhm.
it's really powerful that we're in this space because the folks that showed up in our study were 88% Gen Z
Wow.
and millennial. Right. So I'm a Gen Xer. Gen Xers and baby boomers were less than 12%. So it's
Right.
important for us to hold the line, and
Right.
bring our folks, our generation in, because
Okay.
this is the opportunity. And there's a lot of things that I think that they have an advantage because they were able to watch us,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Uh,
Right.
they're our kids, they're our babies. And so when it comes
And they
to,
don't think 9 to 5 anyway.
yeah, no, they don't. And they're digital natives, right? They were
Right.
raised with the screen in
Right.
their hand. So
Right.
they don't have a lot of the technological barriers of kind of onboarding of the technology that we have. So we're going to have to lean on, to your point, Yolanda, they need the soft skills. They need the professionalization of what they do.
Mhm.
And we need to understand how we really engage digital commerce in ways that allow us to reach our market. So if we're able to all across generations really come together around this opportunity, it could be a game changer for us.
Nice.
Wow. That is so awesome. You should. Your mama back in Camden. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
in
she'd be
South
right
Jersey.
proud of
In
you.
South Jersey.
That's
Oh,
good. That's awesome. No, that's no, really. I mean, that's so inspirational, and you're giving us so much energy and food for thought here in terms of all of this. I can't. I would like to engage you in this conversation further,
I would love it.
and have you come back, and maybe we'll have some questions and other entrepreneurs who are struggling like us, to really get some insight. People can go to your organization. It is Black
BlackInnovationAlliance.com.
.com. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Dr. Kelly, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful holiday
I appreciate
season, and wherever you are, enjoy the weather.
it. Thanks so much. See you soon.
Thank you so much.
We've been talking with Dr. Kelly Burton and talking about entrepreneurship and the Black Innovative Alliance. Go to blackinnovativealliance.com for more information. We certainly will. And we thank you for watching and learning with us today. Have a great day. And thanks for joining. It's Sybil.